Hey guys, it's Mrs. Bergman. This week is a little crazy because a bunch of you guys are remote, who were in person. So we are going to be doing things a little bit differently because my students who were remote, I think we're planning on doing the next step of their mate bark paintings today. But my students who were in person, we have to have the art room to do that, and it's not third graders' turn for the art room this week. And so we're holding off on our mate bark paintings until next week when it's the third grade turn in the art room, and we're doing day one of Molas this week. So those of you guys who are, well, all of you guys are remote right now. We are actually going to be jumping to our Molas project. So don't get rid of your mate bark paintings. I know you guys did some awesome drawings. I saw them on your brown paper, and a bunch of you guys were able to track down some paper bags, and it looks really cool. We will finish that next week. I will demonstrate that next week. So today we're actually going to do day one of Molas. So we are doing another Latin American country. Like I said, we're going to be traveling around Latin America for a little bit here. And the next one, we are actually going to the country of Panama. So you see on this slide, it says Native American art. And oftentimes when we think of Native American art, we think of the Native Americans that lived in the United States. But really, Native American just means that they lived in the Americas first. They were the first people who lived there. They were native. And so that includes North America, South America, Central America. So that includes Canada, the United States, Mexico, Panama, Honduras, Guatemala, Brazil, all of those countries that are in North, South, and Central America. So Panama is a country in between Mexico, which is North America, and South America. There's this skinny little strip of countries, and Panama is one of those skinny little countries. And so we're going to be learning about the Kuna Indians who are from Panama, and they actually still live and work there today. So molas are a patterned fabric created by the Kuna Indians. The word mola means shirt or clothing. It means shirt or clothing. So technically or generally, these designs were used for clothing. They were used for shirts, dresses, things like that, and they still are today. As we're going through these pictures, one thing I want you guys to be thinking about are what do these molas all have in common? What are some features that they all have in common? That's what I want you guys to be thinking about while you're also listening and learning. Okay, so Kuna Indians are from Panama. Panama is a country in South America. Sometimes we technically call it Central America because it's in between North and South America. And the word Kuna means family, so their tribe name means family. How cool is that? All right, so here are some more images. So as you're looking through these images, what do they have in common? What are some features that they all seem to have in common? Okay, so a lot of students will say animals, right? Which is absolutely right. Yes, they all have animals in them. The theme, the idea is animals. Very good. The next thing is colors, those bright colors. Sometimes they almost glow neon because of the black backgrounds that they're on. So those bright colors are another very important feature that we will be including in ours as well. And the third thing I want you guys to notice are the lines. Most of these molas are made out of lines, and most students will notice that the animals themselves have outlines. So the animals are outlined, which means that they have a line going around the outside edge of the animal. So lines are very important, lines in the background. You can see all those short little lines on this one. You can see lines even when you're looking at them from a distance, like on this slide. And you can see how important the lines are for this picture of a fish. Okay, so for our project, I want you guys to choose an animal. And think outside like the normal box of animal, okay? Don't think like cat, dog. If you want to do a cat or a dog, totally fine. But I want you guys to think about animals in the sky, right? All the different kinds of birds, animals in different continents, so penguins and polar bears, In Australia, right, there's kangaroos and koalas. Think about all the animals that live in the ocean, right? If you think about all those different creatures that live underwater, how amazing is that? So think about like crabs and lobsters and starfish and whales and dolphins and sea turtles and all these cool things, right? Or think about African animals, right? Lions and giraffes and zebras and elephants and rhinos and hippos. Okay, so first step, pick an animal. Okay, then draw it. And when I say draw it, you don't have to draw every last feature of this animal. If you look at this animal that I have on this slide, it is just that outside edge of the animal. You don't have to do all the details. You can include the eye if you want and a mouth so it has a face. That's totally fine with me. But don't go crazy with details. Don't do the pattern on the animal. Don't do fur and scales and all of that stuff. You're just doing the outside edge. Then you are dividing the body into smaller sections. Okay. And here on this slide, I have the line divided into almost like a checkerboard pattern, but it does not have to be straight lines. It does not have to be even sized spaces. I just did that because it's easiest to draw on a PowerPoint slide. But in reality, you can do wavy lines to divide your animal up. You can do some bigger spaces, some smaller spaces. All of that is fine. Don't make your spaces too tiny though, because next week we're going to come back and we are going to do a pattern inside each section. And if your sections are too tiny, you're not really going to be able to do much of a pattern inside them. So divide your animal into spaces, and then stop. Okay, and then when we come back to this project, we'll do the next step, which is going to be to add the patterns. Then we'll do the next step and the next step. So I'm sorry if this is really confusing. I know we have like 2 art projects going at the same time, so hopefully you're able to keep track of that at home. But we'll come back to the mate bark painting. We will finish our Molas project, but the next several weeks will be kind of finishing both of them, okay? So next week might be finishing Molas or continuing to work on Molas. I think Molas need 2 more weeks. And then our mate bark paintings will need another week or 2 on those too. So probably for the next month, we'll be finishing up these Latin American projects. So hang on to them. Don't lose them. Take a picture of this. Show me your animal that you've divided it into spaces. And then come back next week and we will continue working in Latin American art. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.